Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Larfleeze. He made his debut in DC Universe Volume 1, Issue number 0 in June of 2008. He's based out of Larfleezia on the planet Okaara, and he has white eyes and orange hair. Now, Larfleeze, also known as Agent Orange, exclusively wields the orange light of avarice, using his orange power ring and power battery. He shares some of the same abilities of other lanterns, including flight, aura projection, and the ability to create constructs made from his light. But an ability that's unique to Larfleeze is that he can steal the identities of those that he or his constructs kill. When these individuals die, orange light constructs resembling them rise from the corpses, adding new members to his orange lanterns. His orange light can absorb green light constructs and mystical energies, but is depicted as being unable to absorb blue or violet light constructs. When he had faced off against the New Guardians, a team that consisted of representatives from all 6 Lantern Corps, the only lantern that was able to damage his constructs was Monk of the Indigo tribe, which was only accomplished when Monk tapped into the orange light himself. Now, Larfleeze's power is supercharged due to him being in constant contact with his power battery. He never leaves it and always keeps it with him. I'm sorry, man. This dude is funny to me. I'm so sorry. All right. But as a result of this... Hold on. Like, the dude never leaves his power battery. Alright, as a result of this, he can maintain an entire core of constructs even when he's separated from it. His control over his ring is so great that he was the only one that could retain his ring when an external force caused Kyle Rayner to become a ring magnet, which caused ring from one member of each of the 5 Lantern Corps to abandon their wielders and travel to Kyle. And since Larfleeze was the only orange ring bearer, he was the only one it could try to pull from, but he kept it. On the downside, though, Larfleeze is burdened with an insatiable hunger that's never satisfied, this being a side effect of wielding the orange light. But this can be nullified when he's in the presence of a blue lantern. Now, based on his reaction after it was removed from him, the orange ring is classified as one of 2 parasitic types of rings, the other being the indigo ring. And these alter the wielder to match its own alignment rather than choosing users that embody its emotion. Unlike the indigo ring, though, the orange ring seems to need someone that's already a bit greedy, as shown in Larfleeze's origin where he kills 2 of his fellow thieves in order to gain control of the ring. It then takes this emotion and amplifies it to a huge degree. But unlike the Indigo tribe, Larfleeze keeps a bit of awareness while under the ring's influence, as he clearly recognized the ring when he was temporarily freed from it, while Indigo 1 appeared ignorant of what had happened to her. It should be noted, though, that while he was briefly free of his ring, Larfleeze was for some reason terrified of it and begged not to have it returned. As soon as it was put back on his finger, though, his previous mindset came back. Now, Larfleeze was the first and for a long time the only wielder of the orange light of avarice, which is the most self-destructive color in the universe's emotional spectrum. It prevents any sharing at all, and those that it illuminates will fight for what they want until only one remains. Its power infects the mind and effectively owns its possessor. The embodiment of avarice is known as Ophidian, who lives inside the battery and causes Larfleeze to hunger voraciously for anything that he sees. Over billions of years, Larfleeze has turned his homeworld into a vast planetary hoard of junk, treasure, and corpses. Also, to protect his most prized possession, the very long-lived Larfleeze has absorbed his orange lantern, becoming a living power battery. And his unique, personal oath reflects his own philosophy, and I quote, "What's mine is mine, and mine and mine, and mine and mine, and mine, not yours," end quote. Larfleeze also comes from a very, very long-lived species, and he's said to be over several billion years old. When he was young, he was taken from his parents for reasons that are unknown and forced to work as a slave. His time as a slave was harsh, and his cruel and sadistic masters starved Larfleeze and his fellow slaves in order to weed out those that were too weak to work in the bad conditions they were forced to work in. This cruelty and deprivation of basic needs and privileges deeply affected Larfleeze, who at some point began to hear the possessions of others, asking him to take them. He eventually escaped and was on the run with several others of his species, and billions of years ago he belonged to a small guild of thieves that stole a number of artifacts from the planet Maltus, including a mysterious box supposedly worth an entire star system to the right buyer. In retaliation for this, the Guardians of the Universe sent their manhunters to pursue them. Those that escaped discovered a map belonging to the Guardian Krona that told of treasure. They followed this map to the planet Okaara in the Vega system, and there they discovered a temple inside of which was the power battery containing the orange light of avarice. Feeling this power speak to them, they fought amongst themselves for it, and eventually the Guardians and Manhunters found them. This is when Larfleeze emerged victorious and was the sole owner of the Orange Power Battery. As I stated earlier, with this power he could create his own army, and he used this ability to summon an Orange Lantern Corps that helped him defeat the angelic inhabitants of the Orrery. But despite being victorious, he could not defeat one of them, the sole survivor named Invictus. He also eventually learned that his constructs were not always obedient to what he wanted, and they went out of control after Larfleeze's pet guardian, Saeed, tampered with his ring. Also, the cosmic entity Cena the Wanderer transformed 7 of his constructs into living beings again, and they turned against him as fully fledged Orange Lanterns. He was briefly beaten and enslaved by them, but he did eventually strip them of their power and left them marooned on a distant planet. Now, due to his powers and abilities and his influence on the DC universe, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'm actually going to give Larfleeze a rating of 10, which is a legendary rating. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe to The New Sage.